The Godfather.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Daylight TV.
Thank you.
Good to have you in our house here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Godfather, let's start by talking about your new look. This is new Godfather. What prompted is your new look, please?
Well, at a stage, because I have this continuity behavior when it comes to my looks, and coupled with the fact that sometimes in most movies people have come to know me with a particular trademark, of how I keep my beers. I said no one has ever seen me like this, total shave off and also having to grow this. And I said okay. When I did that, my wife saw it and she said wow. Said I looked very good on it.
Interesting.
And I said okay, so you want me to keep it? She said of course. So that was how I started keeping it. And I'm enjoying it. I love it too. It's a different look of me.
So when you start keeping it, how is it like I ask? Is it up to a month, 3 months, over a year?
No, it's been off and on. It's up to a year. Once in a while I allow it to grow, and that's why I reduce it. No.
And you don't intend changing this look for now?
For now, as long as my wife is not complaining and people also love it. So there's nothing wrong in it.
Interesting. Yeah, Godfather, let's come down to Nollywood and the industry where you play very, very big. One of the biggest names in Nollywood today. Currently, what are you doing within Nollywood?
Well,
you're on location. Are you off location?
For now, I'm off location, but I've been in and out. It's been a case of once in a while. You never can know when you are needed. But I have been also lending my intellectual resources to other fields. Like you already know, my company Forever Communications, so we do consultancy jobs, and we offer consultancy jobs in different areas, and I'm also a businessman. So by the grace of God, we have been pushing. Of course, just like COVID affected every other business, ours or mine was also affected. But we thank God for being steadfast, and things are looking upwards.
That's it. Yeah. Godfather, you just talked about being a businessman. Can we establish a bond? I said, what kind of business are you into? Businessman, actor turned businessman now. So
of course, yes. I'm into contracts. I also can do supplies, and of course marketing, and of course I'm a documentalist. I do documentaries, not just for my company, but also when I say consultancy, I do that for INEC as well. Not currently though, but I've had cause to do about 3-4 jobs with INEC, also related to our industry in terms of affording. I shot some years back women, the capacity that women bring actually to this space of INEC, and not just that, even printing jobs. That's what these are all businesses. But prior to this time around, a lot of us have not been doing that. So at least this, I'm able to also maintain and sustain that, apart from also offering my experiences through invitational talks, so that's what we feel.
That is quite a handful, Godfather.
Yes.
So how do you cope doing this alongside your acting career? Don't they clash?
Of course, that's why you have dates and dates. We're already positioned. We've already positioned ourselves to be able to know. Of course, everything is worked out well, planned well, and the dates don't clash. But where, of course, they clash, I look at the ones that who told me first, some businesses, and we have been able to bring our best towards achieving excellence in those fields.
Godfather, let's look at Nollywood then and now. You're, in quote, you're one of the old school actors of Nollywood, a veteran for that matter extent. Of course, there are this, of course, how about they call the new school Nollywood now? You're Nollywood of then. Nollywood of today? If you have to compare and contrast, which do you say is better?
Again, I have been asking this kind of questions. What we try to do is to marry. There must be a potpourri, marrying the two together. No one is into any competition. I am glad that newcomers, the young men and women who have been inspired to come and wrestle or to put their input or make their own contributions have not disappointed either. And a lot of us as well who have been there before they came are also happy with the production, the kind of thing that they've been able to bring on stream. So it's a potpourri. We must be able to mix it up and be able to have our outmost the best.
But as a veteran, if you have to choose or make a choice, where would you fall?
Again,
old school or new school?
I will not want to be shot in the leg because, to be candid, there is time for everything, just like Ecclesiastes chapter 3 tells you in life. During our time, we thought everything was the best.
Sure.
Now there are new ones who have also brought the spasm of enthusiasm that has been able to sustain it. We keep growing, so we must also mix where we were, where we are now presently. I do not want to say then was the best, and or this time we are working together as an industry. It's left for people out there to look at. It all depends. Is it in terms of professionalism? Is it in terms of equipment? Is it in terms of directorial approach? Is it in terms of discipline? Is it in terms of what exactly that they are bringing on board?
I'll put it to you, in terms of what you just mentioned now, which is better? Discipline, professionalism, equipment.
So much needs to be done. I want to commend most of the new age directors. They are well seasoned enough to know the new forms and new tricks of movie making, which is good. But again, so much we have lost on discipline in this present generation of actors. The discipline is not there. So much is given to personal eulogizing, and also the media, who prior to now has been able to, whose responsibility it is to be able to educate and also teach some of these new ones, are still have not been able to get it right. I don't have anything against. There are a lot of people you look at and you lump everybody. You say people who have been in the industry for 15 years or 20 years, you say they are legendary. People 10 years, you say they are legendary. People like us who are 40-something years in the industry, some 30-something years, you say they are legendary. So how do you classify those people?
I agree with you.
So we need to, and these are the things that they have the wrong signal. It gives them that they are legends, everyone is the same, we have done this. Yes, no one is removing anything from anybody. And this, perchance, it has made them to be quiet, it has made them to become too egoistic, and they come with some airs. I mean, it's all about humility. You humble yourself, adapt, and give respect to those who laid the foundation.
So you're saying that most new school actors or new school personnel, they lack.
There are very few of them.
They lack respect and humility.
There are very few.
Also lack discipline.
There are very few of them you can count who understand the terrain and respect it. But for me, it's a generational shift.
Does that bother you?
Why should it bother me?
Doesn't bother you?
It doesn't bother me. It's just like asking your children if how you bring up your children matters. It will tell in the behavior of your children. So how they behave, this is not what we taught them. But people who are well schooled, haven't learned from a lot of us, are privileged enough to be able to marry both and be able to excel and still maintain and keep the tempo.
So in that sense, you're saying there's a room for improvement.
Of course, there is room for if they are willing to. I know.
But you have to advise them. What would be your best advice?
A lot of them should
For those
stay.
that are yet to fall in line in terms of
A lot of them, I notice so many people are into drugs.
Wow.
So many. Yeah, you see, you watch it on, you go on location, certain locations, you see them, they're on drugs because they want to meet up.
Seriously?
They cannot do without taking certain drugs.
Is it based on pressure or based on that are not professional enough to act?
Well, I would say professionalism for them have been thrown to the garbage. It's all about money. One, money is very important, money is very key, but at the same time, it comes with some decorum in terms of your ability to be able to structure yourself and be able to rest, plan. You have a new story, you have a new script. Yes, money is good, you want to do it, but always remember, for such actors and actresses, that you have to also remove yourself from the character, finish up a particular job before getting into another one. A lot of them are always jumping from one set to the other, and they are just collecting script upon script.
And this pushes them to.
It pushes you to so much pressure in trying to meet up, and not just meeting up as well. It affects your interpretation and characterization. You don't know that you become a stock character. That's why you say, I can't read this person.
Some of them take drugs.
Some of them take drugs to help them to, have that euphoria, that utopian feeling of,
Wow.
I have arrived and I'm going to do this better than every other person.
But are you talking from experience? You've seen them do this on set? Or?
I've got different sets, so I observe. I observe and I watch, and I say, well, from time to time, I try to let them know. You can't be keeping seniorities with you. Can't even. It is ethically wrong. Not to your call time. Discipline must be there in terms of call times. Discipline must be called there, not because you shot last night or just yesterday afternoon, and so you want everybody to be on set while people are waiting for you. All those are unprofessionalism. They'll be not professional, and people should learn how to be contented. Your responsibility, you have been paid for a role, is to interpret and be at your best, optimum, play at the best optimum level where the director is going to be happy, the producer, don't forget you have been paid, will look at the job and say, yes, there's something entertaining and didactic about this.
Go for that. You just listed some of the problems facing Nollywood today. I have that question, but now that I brought it up, now let's even look at it critically yourself. What went wrong? What has gone wrong with the industry? That will no longer be the rules of the game.
Well, I must tell you, the industry has evolved.
Okay.
So much has happened. Okay. I can tell you that they are all magical, what they are putting in there. They're taking their time to do it more better. It's not great, there's no doubt, between what has been shot today and what was shot yesterday. There is still more that needs to be done in terms of interpretations of these actors and actresses that I need to look at. And also in terms of also storylines. I'm even glad that most of these new ones are not too time for long stories. They do what they have to do. They take the ingredients, the essentials, and they move ahead. So it's good. In terms of, I want to be particular.
Okay.
In terms of attitudes on set, things are still not yet as professional as one it ought to be. Actors should not keep people waiting. Actors should discipline themselves well in comporting and listening to directors, call times, your own time to attend. Costume wise, these days arrangements are being made between producers and also some actors to bring their own costume, because most times as well they have left the ingredients where a proper script conferencing needs to be done in terms of you're playing a fall guy. My interpretation as an actor in terms of the sort of fall guy that I want to be might be different, might be at variance to what the director wants. The director is the one who's supposed to tell you the kind of fall guy you are, and also discussing that script. The costumier, the makeup artist, they all need to be there because they need to know what sort of costume you wear that might affect also the color of curtains or wall, the color of paintings that you have around. All these is a normal theater ensemble that helps in the overall in the overall projection and success.
I know you're a theatre crew and one of the biggest. Before my next question, I want to ask you, which was the last movie you shot? You remember?
Do you think I remember? I do my bit and I know. And I do, I attend. I shot in a summer. The last time I shot a movie was in a summer. Great job.
This year,
great young man, of course. This year I shot in January. I shot in February too. Two great jobs. One of them was shot by Ebuka, one young director, owned by Uju Ejiofor, and the other two, if I remember properly, was shot in Enugu. Great jobs and their own potential.
That takes me to my next question. Let's talk about Nollywood again instead. You were former president of AGN. During your time, we saw a lot of changes in Nollywood, a lot of positive changes in Nollywood instead. Now, I'd like to have your take on the current leadership of AGN. What's your take on the current leadership of AGN?
I do not, with due respect, I do not want to be drawn to. Everyone has his own style.
Are you comfortable with what is currently happening in AGN?
I don't need to be comfortable because.
So, what's your verdict? As current state of AGN?
As people will say, everybody, during my time, there were things that happened within my period that I was able to meet up with those challenges. I do not know what the current AGN is doing.
Why?
And the sort of challenges they are facing.
You should know that. Don't they consult you as a past president?
They don't need to consult me.
Okay.
Another thing is, everybody has his own tenor, everybody has his own plan, everybody has his or her own henchman that does job for them. So I will want to, with due respect, sir, say that I do not know the challenges they're facing.
Are you saying they don't consult you once in a while to make him pitch as a past president, as a leader, as a veteran?
I don't even have to do that because now I have engaged my services to other things, and I know that the board is there and they have their leadership and they are doing what I feel they know how best.
So if I say you should rate them on a ratio of 1 to 10 now, can you rate them?
I don't even have the capacity to rate them. And my rating will not even change whatever it is that.
Okay, it's like let's not delve into that area so much instead. But Mr. Segu, as a veteran actor, let me ask you this: what makes a good actor? What makes a good actor? What are those ingredients that makes a good actor?
Yeah, thank you. Who's a good actor? A good actor is one that interprets his or her role very well, and it's all dependent on the kind of characterization he or she is expected in a particular job. The responsibility of an actor is when you're called upon by a director or your producer, so to speak. It's your producer that hires every other person. You read your script, and then there's usually a script conference. I don't know if they still do that now. And then or your director calls you and tells you your characters, and there's usually a breakdown of who are you. You learn about it. You ask usual questions from your director, what your expectations are, and then by the time you get on set working with other actors, a lot of things changes because nothing is permanent. Your director could tell you different things in terms of what has been adjusted or what has not. But for you have to the best of your ability, interpret that role that you've been given to the best of your ability that is in consonance with the scriptwriters, what the scriptwriters have written, and also what the director wants you to do. So that's it. And if you interpret it, no one needs to tell you, because even the greatest of all jobs is also in acting. After acting, the directors also go to edit, because editing is also where, as maybe I'm speaking from the benefit of hindsight, as also as a director as well.
Kofra, let me take it from there. Kofra, of course, we all know you went to Great Uni Port, have you?
Yeah,
you read a lot, majored in directing. Kofra, how come you hardly direct these days? What happened? What happened? Tell us. Is it that you shun directing or the jobs are not coming? We know you majored in directing. Am I right?
Yes, I majored in directing.
So why are you not calling the shots regularly?
Don't forget too that
we try to be in front of camera and behind camera.
Part of my growing up, learning on this job was an acting. I started as an actor.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, and started as an actor. I fell in love with directing, and being trained by one of the very best. I learned so much.
One of the that's who? One of the very best.
Late Olarotibo.
Okay.
That was university. Then working on the job, I've had cause to also learn a lot. But in my days with NTA, of course, with Chris Obiraku and Chris Chika Obala, and their manager, of course, as an artistic director to work with him. I've also worked with, of course, Matthias Obahegbo, who have had cause to be his artistic director, and late Chikweji Riolo, blessed memory. Yeah, we've come a long way. We've done a lot together, and just maybe one or two other people. But bottom line is that directors, I give kudos to directors, because directors they're always the last men and women standing in every production.
Sure.
And the first and last to leave, first to come and the last to leave a job. And also, when I say the last to leave a job, a lot of directors who know their onions prefer to make sure they edit. These days, of course, which is good. You have an editor who's editing while the film is being shot. The director is calling it shot. There are editors editing while the job is being shot. On set. So it makes it faster, makes it easier. They're always in tandem and they're thinking of the director, the editor knows. So if not, once it did, it shows, there's always a review and it says, okay, that's good. And then that's how it goes. So for me, my hands are full because I do other things.
Okay.
My new challenge is in other things I do as a producer. Like I've told you, I shoot my documentaries. I do also business, and I will need more time. I might not spend 12 days or 14 days or even a month as a director. I won't have the luxury. I rather prefer, if I'm acting, I focus on my acting, and with my little space or short time.
So in a sense, you're more comfortable acting than directing.
Yeah. But the money, it all depends on the money.
I like that.
Because if you mention certain money and you say, hey, will you direct this movie? Yeah, I give it a thought.
Interesting.
But even at that, we have a lot of young directors.
Yeah.
And young directors, males and females, who are doing well. Why not? We allow for fresh ideas and what the young people.
For my next question takes us to Nollywood and challenges your stand.
Yeah.
You're a veteran. You were known name. You're a renowned Shakespeare. In your own views today, what is the biggest problem facing Nollywood?
Well, there are so many challenges, really.
Yeah, so let's take them. Your biggest. List them. Let's hear them.
It's money. Money is actually, because now.
As in terms of funding?
Funding, talk about funding. In the industry, no matter what people talk about, but I'm glad that people have found ways. Now we have YouTube channels, people are creating content. You have online like yours now, Daylight Television,
which is also on YouTube too.
Which is on YouTube and other platforms.
Right.
So we are breaking norms, and I'm glad that those things that used to be shortfalls or problems are no longer problems. Intelligent people like you and others out there have found another means of maximizing their contents. They are being on TV, creation of a new media, and
right.
That's what it is all about. And more things we're also looking onto now. Whether it is on YouTube, you can have it also on Twitter, on Instagram,
Facebook,
on LinkedIn, on Facebook,
everywhere. Social media.
What is happening. And this is a new media, and then I'm so awesome. I'm so happy that it is happening at my time and age that we're able to meet it, and I'm glad. And we're also doing catch-ups now. A lot of folks are trying to do.
How are you catching up with the social media, with the new media?
I also have my own YouTube.
Interesting.
So that I'm trying to make sure I have more content so that I will upload it for me to be able to maximize. And my son. My children are now, we are grooming them to take over.
We'll come to them. So you're saying that funding is the biggest problem facing Nollywood? With the right funding?
Yeah, what funding? Funding remains a key issue. Of course, we're all aware of what's happened in the last 2 years. COVID just came in and then bastardized and affected everyone.
Well, in terms of this funding again, sir, do you think government is not enough to also assist Nollywood in terms of funding again?
Government have provided platforms which people, though we wish, those of us in the entertainment industry, that it should be grants. For me, I wish the government can give grants rather than loans, because people don't get to pay loans because it becomes easy for people to even pay back. Only very few percentage.
Okay, you prefer grants to loans?
Grants are more like it. Grants is the way government recognizes and appreciates what Nollywood has brought, or what it's adding to the GDP of the government.
And hear you. I'm not saying this to the world.
Doing that, we need to look at more people. There must be funds, enough funds that government can give grants to a lot of young people, disperse it, and makes them look at them, what they have been able to do, and
even when the media we also need grants also to do more.
Everyone needs
self-efforts.
These are all self-efforts. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That government and even private sector should.
I was going to ask you about that.
The private sector.
Are they doing enough for Nollywood to and creative industry?
Yeah, there might be some arguments that a lot of them are still not what Nollywood is all about, but only very few that knows. And thank God for new media. I keep saying new media. New media have been able to close that gap to the extent that people are able to think with their feet and how they can, get their contents personally out there. And that's why you look at the music industry. They have blown. When I say not just only to use their popular phrase, they choke. That they are there and what they are doing to people. And I'm proud of people like Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, and all of them. Because prior to this period, what was the Shadia Dudes and powerful Nigerians, Seal and other powerful Nigerians, Americans, who have done so much in positioning and projecting the image of Nigeria through their music.
From outside, from within.
And recently, I never knew, but because I attended I attended the burial of late Mazi Okono. I'm sure probably you heard about Mazi Okono, who was one of the earliest and foremost NTA general managers. Mazi Okono are the earliest proponents of Hollywood. When I say Hollywood, he read theater arts. He was abroad. He attended some of the best schools in the United States of America. He played so many important roles, in Hollywood, acting along so many people.
Serious?
Yes. This is an information. I will give you more.
But was he celebrated?
Yes, he was not celebrated. People never knew, but he did well in NTA. People have never stopped talking about him because a lot of them were the ones that laid the foundation for NTA to become what they are today. Mazi Okono Club. And I'm quite proud that he died at 90 and he was celebrated in his place and who had a lot of this kind of information. So we have a lot of people who have done that in the past and people who are still doing more to help not just this business, just for people that people can aspire to see.
Still on support for Mr. Asim. Between government and corporate bodies, who do you think has done more for Nollywood?
Between government and
corporate bodies.
It all depends on, because for government really, we will have always canvass for enabling environment.
Has it been provided?
When we have talk about security, we also have government through their funding. Government have done their own, but like every individual, we don't wait for government and go cap in hand. They have seen what is our capacity, what we've been able to bring upstream. And government have been able to give, during Jonathan's regime, Jonathan gave grants. He did provide a platform for grants for some
current administration.
And during this administration, have been able to get loans, so that people have been able to access those loans. But what we are saying is, we thank you for the loans, government, but you need to convert those loans as grants, because it's very, very, very difficult. The terrain we're involved in to filmmakers to be able to, you talk about collateral, you talk about, even when you have brought it down to the lowest rate, percentage interest. Grants are more like it because it helps the people.
So you say government has done more from your assertions. Now government has done more than corporate bodies.
Has done more. Okay. Corporate bodies tried, a couple of them, but got their hands burnt because of the experiences some of them had, and that has made them to shy away. And we can only continue to plead with them. But everyone has been hit by this COVID.
Sure.
So
there's a global challenge.
It's a global challenge, which I know that God will take us all out of it. I believe that the new media, that's why the new media is not waiting for all this that we're asking. The new media has woken up, they have risen, they have stood firm, and they're saying, no, we don't want all this. We have talented Nigerians, females and males, young men, youth, who have created enormous wealth for themselves through their own self effort, and we must commend that. And their efforts have been able to pay off and have placed Nigeria on a global map. And that is where I say kudos to all those young people.
Thank you, Godfather. We are not done yet. Let's leave a little bit and come to the nation now. Let's look at the state of the nation, Godfather. Of course, we know you are a political activist, even though you are an actor. Of course, we know you added your voice to a lot of national issues. Even back then, when you were still an undergraduate and later when you left school, you've always been a very vocal voice in terms of topical national issues. So now I'd like you to tell us, we'd like to have your take on the current state of the nation. What's your take on our current affairs?
Well,
I think what is happening in Nigeria currently.
There is no great saying that there's so much hardship out there, so much inflation, so much hardship, and people have been shortchanged in terms of the enormous capacities what the youth want to bring on stream, and they are hungry. We have a lot of people who want to give their utmost best, and that's why every now and then I read online, you hear about Nigerians who are doing us bad outside the country. It shows you the Nigerian spirit, the kind of parentage, the kind of parenting the parents that give those people the kind of opportunity to be able to build capacities where they are.
Sure.
That's the kind of enormous capacity that you have ingrained in this country that needs to be pushed. The government on their part, while I'm not speaking for them, will say they are trying, but they should be able to identify. There are so many things that, like I've been saying all along, that the government should go to the local government areas, empower those youths who are there, each of the 774 local governments, give them the kind of leveraging that will help in building and believing in themselves, that they can bring out something that will make not just themselves proud, but can, reconnect. That's something that can really become, it resonates, so to speak, that people will have a lot of talented people in every field you can think about. So these are part of the things government might say they are doing. Yes, you are doing, but you need to do more for them and get those challenges. And talking about, the government should know, when they look and listen to the cries of these, not just the youths generally, not just only the youths, even all Nigerians. Unfortunately, during the NSAS period, it captures the mind of everybody.
Right.
It was a sad moment in our history that almost brought this nation down.
Right.
And we never face such again. But the government must be able to stand up to look at those issues that made these youths to rise up. Have they been able to take care of them? If they have not, what are they waiting for? These are my issues. These are the areas I want to talk about. And also, for the youth, I also know that nobody has power freely. The youth should also be thinking about floating their political party. 2023 is around the corner. They should be able to float their political party, bring out their manifestos.
Are you aspiring for any political office come 2023?
It is too early. We are just watching the scenario. What is happening.
What do you have intentions of doing that?
Mine is to continue to offer my own advice as an elder statesman.
Talking about advice, of course, the level of stress in Ghana is very, very. Let me just word back. Let me not demarcate our country, but sweating the country is very, very. It's not palatable. It's not sweet. You just talk about advice. If you have advice Nigerian government about security, what kind of advice would you give them in terms of tackling our?
Yeah, security. I want to profoundly appreciate the Nigerian military and the police officers, a lot who have lost their lives, and my heart goes to all of them. I want to say, may God continue to keep you. And the best way for security, in my opinion, let us have our independent, autonomous regional police. Just like they have the West have a Motekuma.
That should
encourage.
And there's
because the people know their people more, and they are able to protect their respective.
So more of like community policing.
community policing is the way out.
Wow.
Because as far as I'm concerned, to help with what the police and the armies are doing. So we need community police. They know their places. They'll be able to get to those roads
and terrains everywhere.
The terrains and nook and crannies, and able to help to checkmate any invasion by anybody. And they've been working in tandem with Nigerian police. They will just act as a buffer. Let's be sincere about it.
My last lap on that security issue now takes us to Southeast. Southeast has been in the news recent times. Police stations being burned down, people's persons being killed on the streets. General state of insecurity in the Southeast. What is your take on that?
I am in pain. I'm in pain because Southeast is one of the most peaceful places in this country.
Right.
And with what is happening, it has given another thought to we are not knowing where we are going in this country. It still boils down to the issue of the community policing. It is sad that so many people, so many terrorists, so many, by whatever name, amorphous name they call themselves, people, young people, old people, no one can even tell. We have lost it. We are losing it in the Southeast. We heard about recently about the ESN. We also heard about the Bible which the governors are doing. They should borrow a leave actually, if I not ask, from the mountain who passed a law. What our leadership doing, particularly the governors of all the states in the eastern Nigeria, you should come together, pass a law, your state assembly, in terms of protecting your region, and then once it is passed, you move ahead, and then it is your responsibility to tell the government this is what we want, it is what you desire, that the government will listen to. Sure. Let us protect lives and property. Because in most cases, we have listened, we have watched sporadically the killings which have gone unabated. We need to checkmate them. That's why, for me, there's no time to convoke another national assembly than now.
You're calling for it?
Yes, I am calling for it because so much needs to be said. I believe that we need to understand ourselves. I believe that things are not well in this country. I believe that it's only sitting on the table once more to talk about those things. Let's look at ourselves eyeball to eyeball and tell ourselves the areas where we think government have failed, and the government should be able to wake up to their responsibility and not lord it over the people, to say yes, accept your blame, and say and ask for what is the way forward? What can we do to make sure that things can be normal? I will listen to them, and I believe after that the sincerity of purpose will bring about resolving some of those issues.
Father, thanks so much.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating.